That's just the thing about life. We wake up every single day figuring it out. What's going on, good people? Peace be still. Listen, this is the 41st installment of Mighty Mondays with yours truly, Coach Mitchell. Listen, life is practice. Everything we do in life is a practice. The question is, what are we practicing? What are we continuously practicing? Look, I remember talking to a guy who played the keyboard at church. We called him Maestro. He was very talented. Listen, after church, I asked him, I said, Maestro, how long have you been playing the keyboard? And he said, I've been practicing for 34 years. Practicing for 34 years. When he said practicing, I'm like, wow. He said he's been improving upon his playing skills for 34 years. He's been learning for 34 years. The problem with many of us is we stop learning. We stop showing up to life as a student of life. Forget a particular thing. Be a student of life first. Continuously practicing on improving upon yourself first and foremost. And if you do that, you can show up to anything better. But he said he'd been practicing for 34 years. Practicing, growing. I remember the last season that the late Kobe Bryant played, and he was being interviewed, and he said, there are still things that I'm learning about the game of basketball. He said it's still things he was learning in year 16. He had won five championships, MVP awards, everything. Olympic gold medalist. And he still said he was learning. He was learning? He's been arguably considered a GOAT or the GOAT. And he was still learning. In his last season, he said it's still stuff that I'm learning. Practice. Practice. It's practice. And stop hanging your head so much. Just improve upon whatever it is that you do. Look, my son, I'm playing basketball with my son in the backyard, right? He said, Daddy, I want to do some drills. So I just do some drills with him. And we doing drills, and he's getting disappointed because he's missing shots or he's fumbling the ball. And listen, I told him, I said, son, relax. We're just practicing. We're just practicing. You are working at getting better, son. We're just practicing. We're just practicing. So listen, he had a game later that week. And at halftime of the game, he came and sat next to me, and I said, son, man, you doing real good out there. I see you improved upon, your rebounding. I seen you box out like I told you. And he was like, yeah, but I still ain't do this right. And I was like, son, don't worry about it. You just practicing. You are just practicing. When you are able to look at life through that lens, it'll make life a way less stressful. You'll stop suffering here. You're practicing. Does that mean you don't really care? No. It means you understand that you're getting better. You're evolving. You're working towards. You're practicing. There's something to be learned. You're learning. That is what that means. You're learning. So yeah, I'm not saying that means don't care about whatever it is you do. No, it means recognize that you're collecting data, that you're preparing, you're constantly preparing, you're constantly getting better, you're constantly improving. Everybody in life is figuring this thing out. Don't you let nobody tell you they got it all figured out. Don't nobody got it all figured out. Ain't nobody I don't care who you name, what famous person you want to reference. I don't care who it is. Your mama, cousin, brother, sister, wife, husband. Nobody has it all figured out. That's just the thing about life. We wake up every single day figuring it out. Meaning we're constantly growing. We're constantly changing. We're trying to figure this thing out. We're working towards figuring this thing out. Everybody is working towards figuring this thing out. That's what this is. It's a practice. We're all trying to figure it out. There is no I figured it all out. I've got it all understood. It's no such thing. It's no such person. And don't believe the hype. We're all figuring it out. Whether it be parenting, a new career you're involved in, a new endeavor, whatever the endeavor is, I don't care what it is, you're figuring it out. You're figuring, you know how many teachers I had where they was honest. Even my wife teaches and they say, listen, anybody who's a teacher, they say, man, I learn more every time I teach it. The more I teach it, the more I learn it. Like they don't have it all figured out. They're still growing. They're still improving upon themselves. So stop hanging your head, stop living in guilt and shame, and listen, wake up and realize like, yo, I got another chance to practice something new. I got another chance to improve upon something today. I got another shot. It's practice. I love y'all. Stay peaceful, and thank you for listening to and watching another installment of Mighty Mondays.